Shinobi, open your eyes. For the sake of your master.
Hey everyone, it's BlueLizardJello and welcome back to Everything Possible in Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Last time we took out Gyobu, the demon. Oh, what a fight. What an excellent fight. And today we actually have a bit of a mini boss rush, so I don't want to waste any time. So before we get back out into the field, I will be going to talk to the Sculptor because we now have unlocked the upgrades for our prosthetic tools, and we have just enough materials in order to purchase two of them, that being the spinning shuriken, as well as the spring-loaded firecrackers. You can read the description here. So the spinning shuriken, this will actually bend the spring and build rotational energy that will cause the blade to continue to rotate after landing, which deals multiple hits. And the spring-loaded firecracker will charge up the spring mechanism, which causes the firecrackers to be thrown out in all directions. So we've already used some of the scrap iron and sand. This one's going to take 2 more scrap iron and 1 black powder. And this will also unlock the tier 3. Now some of these, we don't actually know what the prosthetic tool is. I guess we have some more tools to find. But we will be getting one more tool in this episode. Now before, again, we go out into the field, we do have just a little bit of work to do here at the Sculptor's Idol. First and foremost, we need to enhance our attack power using the memory of Gyobu. Gyobu Oniwa once led a group of infamous bandits but was defeated by Ishin, who was so captivated by his show of strength that he took him in as an Ashina warrior. Oniwa would later go on to become Genichiro Ashina's most trusted retainer. So even though Gyobu was originally an enemy, he was so respected by Ishin that he was actually brought in to become one of their own. Really cool. We'll see more about Gyobu even later in this episode. That brings my attack up to 3, and you can see we have 3 out of 4 prayer beads. We will be collecting some more today, but we also want to take a look at the skills. Now, we did get the Ashina arts because of the quest that we did with Tengu. We are going to purchase Ichimonji, and then we have 2 more points. Instead of getting Ascending Carp, I will be getting Descending Carp, which means that after a perfect deflection, every hit for the next few seconds will have an increased damage, which is great. And then I also am going to pick up the Run and Slide, just a little maneuver that allows you to get into cover a bit faster. On that note, it's time to travel to the Ashina Castle Gate. It does bear mentioning that right up there where we killed those 3 rats, that is one of the best early game farming areas for both skill points for XP as well as loot. Because as you kill those rats, they drop a surprising amount of XP, and their loot can even have things like gachi and sugars, which is one of my favorites. Heading up these stairs, we have the 1 gunman. As long as we just run around, easy to get that kill. And now we have a few options as far as where we're going to go. We can go up and over this building. We do have that tree over to the left, which would allow us to get a drop on a couple of enemies, but for me, I just like to start with a grapple up here. And this gives us a little bit of the lay of the land. We have those 2 enemies that'll stop on the staircase. There's another gunman who will, you can just see him a little bit in the doorway. He'll be joining us as we get a little closer. And then just over here, we can't make them out, but there are a few dogs as well as 1 more enemy. There are the rats, so if you want to farm them, you can just kill those 3, jump over, reset at the Sculptor's Idol, and then just rinse and repeat pretty quickly. For me though, my goal here is, in fact, one thing that I forgot to do, you do need to equip the new prosthetic tools. Even though it's just an upgrade, you need to equip the spinning shuriken and the spring-loaded firecracker. Keep in mind that some upgrades will cost more spirit emblems than their unupgraded partner. Now the shuriken and the firecrackers do not. They cost the exact same. But since we have some dogs here, I am going to worry about taking them out first. There we go. And the stealth finish from above. Perfect. Now there is also a ledge up there that you can kind of use to get around nice and quiet like. But for me, because I have the extra suppression skills, I should be able to sneak just fine. This is going to be a ceramic shard, which I do already have equipped. And if I really wanted, I can get the slightly more dangerous enemy's attention And even though I won't be able to get the drop on him, I should be able to get a nice quick kill. And by that I mean I should be able to take lots of damage. So let's just finish this easier guy. The one I should have started with anyway. But there is the deflection. There's the kill. Perfect, they're dead. I think I'll just use a pellet to top off. Now I don't want this enemy to see me just yet. So there he is. He's going to come and investigate. As long as I get the drop on him first, though, we should be fine. Now, there's a few items that we want to get out there, but just to give you the lay of the land, in here we do have a couple of Taro troops. One there banging his hammer, one around the corner, one enemy straight there, and then another one further across the courtyard. We will be employing some stealth tricks in order to get them killed nice and safely. And also, there is one item over yonder, but we're going to get that from the other side of that wall. So running back here, we do have a ledge that we can grab onto with a double jump. Sprinting around, we're going to have a grapple point up here to this building. Now this building actually allows you to bypass all of the enemies and go right to the next mini-boss, which is the Blazing Bull. But that would not be everything possible, so instead I'm going to hug this wall while I pick up this Litecoin purse. Stop hugging the wall, Sekiro. Jumping over onto this platform, there is a spirit emblem. And then we have this grapple right over here, which you have to jump to. 2 shinies on the ground, but we have 5 geckos here. Now, if you don't want to waste the spirit emblems, I don't blame you. But I like to get some of them killed nice and quickly. Some of them are also going to return some spirit emblems, typically. Then I can just do the jumping plunge attack. There's another. Excellent. Nice quick kills on all those geckos. So we get a scrap iron, and we also get 2 more of the Gachin sugar, which is really, really good. One of my favorite sugars in the game. So from here, I'm just going to drop down, and this is where we're going to start clearing this courtyard. First, I can just sneak right up onto this enemy who's just at the edge of the grass. Kill him, and now I need to be a bit cautious. With this Taro troop, I want to get the backstab on him somewhere deeper in this grass, otherwise the other one, which is just around the corner, will see me. So I'm actually going to back up a little ways, throw that, and then immediately crouch and get around these trees. Now this should allow him to come deep enough so that I can get the backstab on him before his friend's even going to notice. In fact, if I have to, I can just throw another one. Get him to go towards where I threw that from. And there's the backstab. Typically that will get the other one's attention. In this case, does not look like it has, which is perfect for me. I still want to kill him with stealth just because that battle can be a little bit difficult. Let's see if we can. There we are. So if you didn't notice there, I threw the ceramic shard and then immediately after just dashed over behind those rocks. And there we go. 2 Taro troops killed very, very easily. Get rid of this enemy. And now we can just finish looting. Not too much left, but over here, up on these stairs, we have a couple more fistfuls of ash, as well as another scrap iron. But we can't forget that shiny, which is going to be just up these stairs and over this wall. Here we are. And we get 2 more Akko sugar. Really good for increasing our attack power. Momentarily. We'll be using that against at least one of the mini-bosses today. With this courtyard clear of both enemies and loot, I'm going to go up here so I can listen in on these 2 guards' conversation.
We're really planning to use that thing? In the battle. I know. But what choice do we have? Desperate times call for desperate measures. We're in no position to worry about what others might think.
Yes, but...
Hey, keep it together, soldier. Keep talking like that, and they'll put you on its detail. And when it's mad, it doesn't discriminate between friend or foe.
So they are talking about the next mini-boss that we're about to face, and they are not so sure we should be using that, or they should be using it against us. Now, out of these two, I'm going to choose the one with the spear. They can be a little bit more dangerous, especially because all we have here is a rifleman. Very easily dispatched with just a couple of hits. Inside this courtyard in the Ashina castle, I'm going to backstab this one enemy, and then before I go any further, I'll be setting up my hotbar. So I won't need ceramic shards. I'm not going to need my gaching sugar. I will be using an Acco sugar, and because it is the blazing bull and fire damage does happen, I'll be using dowsing powder. The plan is to do deflections on the bull's charge as much as possible, but because the horns are on fire, then I will be taking some burn buildup as well as some fire damage even through a perfect deflection. So I'm going to top off with a pellet. I'm going to use an Acco sugar, a dowsing powder, and then I'm going to let the bull, hopefully, do my dirty work here. And there it is, perfect. So there's the charge that I want. I'm also going to be using the firecrackers. There's the deflection, get a couple of quick hits, and then back up. And go ahead and charge at me. Alright, only got one hit on that time. You do have to be careful with the timing. It is a little bit of a delay after he lowers his head. So he lowers his head. There's the deflection. There's a good stun. Let's use the firecrackers. Okay, time to run. Doing some good posture damage to him already. That was just a block, unfortunately. Let's try and reset that. There's a deflection. 3 hits, run away. Set it up again. There it is. And what I'm doing is I'm dashing in to close the gap. There's the stun. We almost have him. And we do want to watch out as he becomes enraged. And there it is. That's the Blazing Bull. That is the Blazing Bull. Because we have the extra attack power, because we went to Harasta Estates and killed Madame Butterfly, because we used Acco's Sugar, that fight was not too bad. And this gives us our 4th prayer bead as well as rank 2 of Shinobi Medicine. This allows us to be healed even more by our healing methods.
Sounds like he's calmed down. What? The enemy is still alive! What? What about the bull? Where's the bull?
Using the Makita counter on the spearman. And just dealing with him nice and quick like. Now once we pass through these gates and we rest, the gates are going to shut and we will not be able to go back through these gates, but we can always use the fast travel system. Now we are approaching Ashina Castle proper. It's right at the top of those stairs. But we do have a Sculptor's Idol, and we're first going to enhance our physical attributes by making our 2nd prayer necklace. In Ashina, there is a towering pink ogre of a man said to have gone red-eyed and run amok before he was long shut away in a forsaken dungeon. That increases our vitality and our posture. But we also have this old hag here.
Thank heavens. Thank heavens.
For what do you pray?
Oh, you there. Have you heard of the Senpo Temple? The Senpo Temple on Mount Kongo. A very special holy person lives in that place. Go on. Join me in prayer. Thank heavens. Thank heavens.
This lady wants us to pray with her. If we consume any item in our inventory while standing near her that at least resembles prayer, she's going to give us some items up to 3 different times. Now 2 of the ones that work great are the Mibu balloons, any of the Mibu balloons. You can use the bundled Jizo statues, but that is an incredible waste. Or you can use the Bell Demon. If you dispel the Bell Demon, it acts as a prayer and she will give you the loot, and then you can just go back to the Senpo Temple and get this Bell Demon again. But I'm feeling a little bit lazy, and even though that is the cheapest way of doing it, Instead, I'm going to use the Mibu Balloons of Wealth and just use 3 of these. So on the first prayer,
That's right. Yes, that's the way. That's how one prays. You have a pious temperament. I offer this to you.
we get an Ungo Sugar. And on prayer number 2,
Yes, such a good.
we get an Akko Sugar, and then the third item and the last item she's going to give us is the most important.
Yes, lastly, I offer this to you.
We get a Divine
Only
Confetti.
someone like you could stand with the divine child. Those monk scoundrels always chase me away. Oh, divine child.
So from here, I will be resting at the Sculptor's Idol because I meant to do that already, so I can at least get my max health back. I'm going to be adjusting my hotbar just a little bit, getting rid of the dousing powder as well as the Mibu Balloon. I'm going to be putting on the Gachins as well as more ceramic shards. And even though we're going to go in here first, we're not going to go to the right and we're not going to approach the stairs. We'll be looking at this remnant and then just going this way into the courtyard bit.
Lord Kuro. It is time, Lady Emma. Yes, I know. Master Genichiro is waiting, is he not? I will return to the top of Ashina Castle. Wolf, that reed whistle we used before. This time, I will use it to call on you.
Once again, we see Lord Kuro with the one and only Emma. Inside this courtyard, we do have this one door that we can open from this side. From here, we can drop down, or we can open up this door. And even though there's not a lot to do in here just yet, there is a couple pieces of loot over by this tree. So we have one more scrap iron, another Mibu possession balloon, and we do have a grapple point up there, but there's nowhere else we can go. We could drop down in the water, but until we have the skill that allows us to swim underwater, there's no sense going down there. But we can drop down here safely, pick up another pellet, and then we can open this door, which you may not recognize yet, but once it's open, you may understand that this is the door that didn't open from the other side from the very start of the game when we were in Ashina Reservoir. Let's just activate this Sculptor's Idol. And then we're going to do just a little bit of backtracking so you can see exactly how we ended up here. So let's just use our grapple to get back up top. Through these doors. Now there is the channel that's right below the bridge to the Old Hag. But what we want to do is run back. And even though there's nothing down there, there is a spirit emblem that I do want to collect. In order to get that, nice and simply, I can just walk off the bridge. I do take a little fall damage, interestingly enough. Once again, until we have the skill that lets us breathe underwater, no sense of staying down here. But we'll grapple once, grapple twice, and I could rest to get my little bit of health back, but I think we should be okay. We're going to jump over to this grapple point. This is the bridge that we traveled beneath when we first escaped Ashina Reservoir, just over there. And we actually have a new eavesdrop.
I heard you were the one that put the armor on that big bugger from Taro Troop.
Yeah, he was making a stink about it. It was a damned awful job.
But it looks like it paid off, didn't it? He already had a huge frame and massive strength, and you just made him near impervious to blades.
That is true, but he doesn't like that armor. And he sure didn't like me putting it on him. When a fight happens, it might come off easier than you think.
This eavesdrop is a hint to an enemy that we're going to find just beyond those large doors. Now, if we sneak up quickly but quietly, we can take care of this spearman. We get the Gatehouse key, the key to a samurai gatehouse located in the Ashina Reservoir, not far from the well the wolf was kept in. Here, Gyobu the demon's broken horn is respectfully guarded by Ashina samurai. The broken horn is the spear blade once wielded by Gyobu the demon. It's said that no prey can escape Gyobu's horn, It pulls enemies in and is even capable of stripping an enemy's armor. And we'll be picking that up momentarily thanks to that key. But before we even get the broken horn, over here, if we just grapple right up to the top of this gatehouse, once again equipping my shuriken because we have a few dogs, that is the Taro troop they were just talking about. And while you can't quite see it, he does have some pretty thick armor on. And if we try to fight him between the armor and that large bell, well, we don't really want to face him head to head. We can either use stealth tactics like we will, or you can go get the broken horn, turn it into the Sculptor, become the loaded spear, and actually strip the armor off of him. So we kill one dog. Kill the rest of the dogs. Now the Taro troop is actually not sure exactly where we are. And this allows us to use agachi and sugar. You can actually get away without using this, but just for safety, I do like to use it. So he's investigating his fallen pets. I'm just going to give him a nice wide berth and get the backstab. From him we get scrap magnetite, another version of upgrade materials. It also puts me over the edge for 2 more skill points. Here we have some black gunpowder. Here we also get some more scrap iron. Here's a heavy coin purse hiding behind those boxes, and down here we already have another Sculptor's idol. We'll activate it, but not rest just yet. And then over here we have another memorial mob.
Care to where we go ahead.
This memorial mob does have a few important items despite the normal wares. Dragon's Blood Droplet. Using this will slightly increase your resurrective power. Restore the power of life to those who have been drained of it by offering this drop to the Sculptor's idol with the recovery charm in hand. In turn, all afflicted with the dragon rot will be healed. The incessant coughing must cease. Any time dragon rot has entered the land through your NPCs, because of how many times you've died, you can offer a Dragon's Blood Droplet to cure all of them. So we'll purchase the one that he has. He also sells a Mask Fragment Dragon. We already saw one of these Mask Fragments in the Hirata Estates. No need to buy it just yet because the other piece is going to be quite a ways away, but a Prayer Bead at 1400 is certainly worth the cost of admission. At this point, I don't really need any other pellets, so I'll just reinvest some of these into like coin purses.
Where are you forever?
We're going down just a tad bit further so you can see where we are. And down here, even though we don't want to really go too much further, this is the abandoned dungeon. We've already heard this mentioned in the second prayer necklace, and we're going to see a second entrance to the abandoned dungeon in just a little while. Making our way back, I do want to clear out the lower portion of the reservoir, which does have a few more of those assassins. Fortunately, all of them can be stealth killed very easily. Running over the bridge over to the side, we'll drop down here. Here we are in Ashina Reservoir. And if we can just get behind this one. There's kill number 1, nice and quiet. Kill number 2. And we also have heavy coin purse and another scrap iron. And then kill number 3, just below. And there we are. So that is all the rats down here. He was guarding another Mibu Balloon of Spirit. We can zip right up. Here's the door where we took to go fight Genichiro for the first time. It is now locked. So just zipping on over. We are headed over that way. Now over to the left is the well that we first found ourselves in when Emma dropped down that ornamental letter. We are going to be ending our journey there today, but first we have one of the more dangerous mini-bosses coming up. Heading over this way, you're about to recognize where that door was just a little while ago that we opened from the other side. And that was right here. The very first mini-boss of the game was fought here.
Heard reports of a shinobi being seen somewhere around here.
I heard the same, but lately it feels like an everyday occurrence.
I know. Goes to show just how soon the battle will be upon us. Even more the reason to take these reports seriously.
When I first played this game, I thought that the shinobi they were talking about was me. but we're going to soon see that there is another shinobi in this area. Now we do have a couple of dogs here as well as these two enemies. What I typically prefer to do is to jump kill this one, kill him nice and quick, and then shuriken the dogs. Doesn't always work out exactly as I wanted, but we can make do. There's a deflection, there's the kill. Dogs are on us, so let's back up. There's one, and there's two. Perfect, nice clean kills. From here, we do have a courtyard with 2 more tower troops, a few gunmen, and some other enemies dotted around. And we do have that one gunman looking over, but there's another enemy who's a bit hidden that we want to take care of before any others. When we grapple to this tree, double jump up to this ledge, here's one of the enemies that likes to bang his pot and alert all the other enemies to our presence. With him dead, we could skirt over there, meet a new NPC as well as take on a new mini-boss. But for now, we just want to start taking care of these enemies slowly, surely, and one at a time. So there's that one. No one's the wiser. And then this is the gatehouse that we just got the key to. Inside, over in the shiny, we do have a heavy coin purse, but more importantly, inside this chest, we get Gyobu's broken horn. Famed horn spear once used by Gyobu Masataka Oniwa, affixed to the shinobi prosthetic to create a prosthetic tool. The horn contracts to pull enemies in, also capable of stripping crude armor. When the horn was broken during the rebellion, Ishin praised it for its splendid shape, awarding Oniwa with the cross-bladed spear of Shuzen Tamura. From here we can go back under the house that we've already crouched under before. Get a couple more ceramic shards. There's 2 enemies we're going to get stealth kills on. Here's one. There's the 2 tarot troops you can see. Make sure we're collecting our loot as we go. Here is another. And while you can't quite make it out fully, there's an enemy standing in the doorway of the Moonview Tower. That is the 7 Spear, and we'll be fighting him very shortly. But we need to deal with the rest of these enemies, again, as quietly as we can. You have a spearman right there, another gunman right there. We're going to go for the gunman next. Crouching, staying low, staying quiet. Should be able to do a little bit of running now. Problem is we don't want that tarot trooper to see us, so we may have to wait until he starts his patrol the other way. There we go. There's that kill. Collect some fistfuls of ash, and then let's get the spearman. Move that tarot troop. Almost saw us. Got behind the tree just at the last moment. So now what I like to do is actually go back. Gonna jump to this grapple point. And now what I should be able to do is get my ceramic shards and pull them through this door. So we have one coming. I'm going to get around the corner just a little bit. Not trying to make too much noise. I don't want him to see me. I want him to lose interest and turn around. Okay, he lost interest, but there we go. There's the turnaround. And we got the timing just perfectly, so the other tower troop was patrolling the other way. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to wait for him to come back around. I'm going to use a ceramic shard, and we're going to play a little bit of Ring Around the Rosie around these rocks. So my plan, once he turns around, hit him with a ceramic shard. He's going to go to the right of these rocks, at least my right. And he's going to see me. Well, that's unfortunate. Well, this is certainly not an enemy I'm very good at fighting, so this could take a little while. So we're just gonna play this safely. Watch when he does any of his big attacks. There we are. Just don't get greedy. I don't like to deflect these guys' attacks. I'm just not very good at it. Almost got him. I could use the Robert's firecrackers just to make it a little bit faster. But there's the kill. Alright, not exactly as planned, but still a flawless kill. There we have another pellet, and we do have one more enemy just hiding around here. And then we can approach the next mini-boss with what I would call relative safety. It's very easy to get the first death blow on the 7 spears by either going to the left or to the right. And by to the right, I mean getting on this rooftop, we have one of these launch points for our grapple. And once we hit that, we can grapple up to a higher point that'll put us right up behind him. So there we go. You can see him going his merry way. So now it's time to prepare. I don't need ceramic shards, and I don't need my gaching sugar, but I will be using Akko sugar, and I will likely be using my firecrackers. I could also be using Ichimonji, but I have not found it to be too terribly effective against him. And first, let's just grab some scrap iron in case all goes terribly, terribly wrong. But I do also still have a resurrection. So my plan is to get the backstab, use an Akkos, and then fight him in close quarters very aggressively using a lot of sweep dodges and Makiti counters. There's my Akkos, and let's get ready. There's a sweep. Okay, not going so well. I missed my Makiri there. There's a good opportunity for an attack that I just wasted by dying, but let's use that resurrection. There's my heal. Oh heavens. Not going well. Let's heal up. In practice, this went much smoother. And I am missing all of my Makiri counters. There's the Makiri. There's a block. Well, I suppose I did tell you that I wanted to show you off some Dragon Rot, so if I keep this up, I'll be showing it a little bit sooner than I anticipated. So I'm going to clear the enemies, and I'll meet you back at these 7 spears. And you know what? I decided to go the lazy way. This time, I didn't kill all the enemies, only a couple of them to get here. But the tactic is going to remain the same, but this time I have to try and stay a little bit further away so none of the other enemies detect me. It looks like one of them may have just seen me, so we may be fighting a spearman as well. That'll be unfortunate. Let's get my firecrackers ready. Not a good start. We actually don't want to knock him off of the ledge. That can prove to be problematic. And there's that problematic swordsman. This time we're going to wait a little bit while at least he travels away. That way I can kill this enemy, hopefully in relative peace. Okay, there we go. There's a resurrection. Kill him. There's the kill using those iframes. Alright, time to back up. We're going to kill him better this time. Let's blind him a little bit. Oh, he did not get blinded. There's the Makiri counter. Let's blind him. Alright. We're going to use some dodges as well as some deflections. Back up. Okay, I dodged through that instead of Makiri counter. That also works, though. Here we go. Got him on the ropes. And there it is, the final kill. As long as you stay aggressive and you don't make the mistakes that I did, not a terribly difficult fight. The item we're after, though, is at the top of this pagoda, but first we do have another Kuro remnant.
Wolf, you said to me once, do what must be done, but I have yet to discover what it is that I must do. I don't understand. Why was I granted this power?
Just a poor child not really sure what his place in this world is. Zipping to the top of the tower behind it, a very coveted item, another bundled Jizo statue. We've talked about those before, but not very common in the game and can prove to be extremely useful. So now the goal is to sneak somewhat quietly past everything. Luckily this one enemy is dead because he did decide to follow us into that fight and get us killed. So we're only going to kill the enemies absolutely necessary, such as this one. I'm going to use a pellet to start topping off my health before the next fight. And we can even actually leave the potbanger all by himself. By the way, instead of traversing carefully, we can just do a double jump right over that gap. And here is Jinzaemon, our next NPC.
It truly stirs my soul. Beautiful, and yet somehow sad. As if it yearns, it calls for someone.
Hey,
Who are you calling for? Let me hear it one more time.
hey, you.
What? Oh, my name is Jinzaemon Kumano. My duty is to patrol the moat. I've not seen you around before. Which clan are you?
I cannot say.
You cannot say, you say? So you are a shinobi, then?
I cannot say.
Your manners could use some work. No matter. If you are a shinobi, I won't press any further.
At this point, this is all we can do with Jinzaemon. If we talk to him again, we just can't give him any answers.
Shinobi, have you ever heard someone playing the shamisen around here? I followed the sound and it led me to this well.
I have not.
Is that so? I thought since you're a shinobi you might know. I wonder who that melody calls to. I don't know why, but I can't stop thinking about it. No, it's nothing. Please forget I ever spoke of it.
We'll be seeing him again. Now this is the well that we climbed out of, and if we look down through a certain hole here, where is it? There is a way to see. Oh, maybe it's this large one. Yes, this large one. Now, even though we can target him, if we go down, we can actually get a little bit of dialogue with that enemy before we engage him in battle. You did see he does have 2 death blows. This enemy can also prove a little bit difficult, so I'm going to check. I do have a resurrection available, but I will be using another Akko Sugar against him just to make the fight go a little bit faster.
He said I'd find a cowardly wolf here. No sign of him, though. A broken and incompetent shinobi living in disgrace. I hope to see such a man for myself, but seems I'm out of luck. And if he truly cannot die, I'm sure I'll run into him at some point.
Now, we've already fought his kind once before in the Hirata Estate, right before we got the Mistraven Feather. Before I fight him, one thing to keep in mind is when he does a thrust kick, it can be countered with Makiri just like a spear thrust. Let's use our Akko Sugar, get our healing gourd ready, and engage him a second time.
Oh, you. Are you a wolf? Look all that cowardly? That matters not.
There is the thrust attack. You can always follow it up with a nice charge thrust after. And there's the sweep that I just narrowly avoided. There's a nice sweep for some good posture damage. And I should have had the Makiri there. I should be able to get my first death blow. Meanwhile, I'm going to heal up. And why not a little firecracker there that unfortunately missed him. And missing all my deflections. Jumping. Alright, getting killed another time. Not ideal. Getting a little quiet here because in practice I was fighting much better. Let's wait for the thrust. There we are, followed up with the thrust of our own. Okay, wait for the thrust. And with the thrust. And there is the finish, just barely. But with him dead, we get more magnetite and another prayer bead. And that, luckily, is the last enemy I need to fight in this episode because I clearly need to go and de-rust. Now, in the very first episode, I showed you that there was an item up here that we couldn't reach yet. But now that we have the grapple hook, the scrap iron is ours. Not that we're going to be exploring it right now, but this does lead to another side of the abandoned dungeon, complete with another mini-boss. But that is going to be an episode for another time. For now, we are just going to use our homeward idol to head back to the dilapidated temple. And since we do not have any more gourd seeds and we're not going to turn the prosthetic tool into the lotus beard just yet, that is going to do it for this episode of Everything Possible in Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. I hope you learned something, and if you did, please leave that in the comments below and let me know what you learned, even if it's how to die very quickly to the 7 spears or to the other shinobi. But if I missed something, or if you have other tips or tricks that'll help me to play just a little bit better, put that in the comments as well so we can all keep learning. But I want to thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.